Assalamu alaikum, namaste, shalom and good day. You are listening to Awaz Community Radio. Your host for today is Syra, and my guest today is Ali, and we'll be talking about a support group for people who've experienced cancer. Now, if you want to get in touch with us, email us awazcommunityradio@gmail.com or give us a call 0161 839 9817. You can catch us on Facebook, just type in Awaz Community Radio, or tweet us at Awaz Radio 122. Thank you for listening to Awaz Community Radio with your host Syra, and my guest, as I said, is Ali. Hi Ali.
Hi Syra.
Thank you so much for coming in.
You're welcome.
Now, you're going to be talking about a support group, aren't you? So if you could just give our listeners a bit more information.
Well, just to let you know, so my name's Ali Davenport, and I'm a Macmillan Community Outreach Officer for the Macmillan Information and Support Service in Manchester Council. And every 2 months, I run a Living With and Beyond Cancer group at North Manchester General Hospital.
Great stuff. Now, can I ask, how long has this group been running for?
It's been going for just over 2 years now, so quite an established group. And it started when I met with patients, people who'd had cancer, and we had a conversation about what sort of services and things they would like to do. And so we came up with the idea of having a group where people could get together and talk about their experiences.
Great stuff. So what is your role within the group?
What I try and do is actually sort of do as little as I can. It's more about facilitating the group. So I'm there to welcome people, put them at their ease, and to, I suppose, to sort of be there to kind of kick things off. But then the hope is that people will talk and share their stories, and so I have to do as little as I can and sort of let people talk and share in that way.
So Ali, who are these groups for?
The group is for anybody who's had cancer, and it doesn't matter whether that was 10 years ago or recently. It's for anybody who's been affected that way, and of any age, and any background. So everybody's welcome.
And how long do you meet for?
We meet for 2 hours. And what we generally do is spend the first part having a conversation around a particular topic and theme. Then we have a break, and then we come back together and people bring whatever they want to the table then.
So you've been with this support group for 2 years now, Ali, and I'm sure you have many stories to tell, really.
It's a really good group. People are always made very welcome when they arrive, and I think feel very much at home straight away, because it's very informal. We don't have presentations and formal things like that. It is a conversation. It's a chance for people to talk. And we've covered things like dealing with fatigue, dealing with the emotional effects of cancer, and also things like, physical activity, and how good that is for you. And we've had like a yoga teacher in, and we had a personal trainer in once as well.
That sounds really good. It's something that I guess you know, a lot of cancer sufferers will have, there will be certain things in common despite, you know, having different cancers.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. You know, everybody has their own unique story and experience, but there are common things that people share. And, you know, I think the group experience can be really powerful. I mean, as one of the regular attendees says, he says, you know, he always feels better when he drives away at the end of the meeting. There's something about people coming together and sharing their experiences with each other that makes them realise they're not alone, you know, and there are other people who can recognise what they're going through and you know, be empathetic to that.
What I quite like about this group is the fact that you meet face to face, and I think obviously technology is great, the internet's fantastic. I'm sure there are lots of forums out there to support people, but I really I think that, you know, that face to face contact must be really helpful.
Yeah, there's something very special about it, and about being in a group rather than being with somebody in a one-to-one. It's yeah, like I say, it's powerful. But to say that, it's not like we sit there and it's all very serious and somber and everybody crying all the time. It isn't. It's actually a feeling of it being really positive. And, you know, people share what they have difficulties with, but we also talk about how people deal with those difficulties. You know, how do they move forward in their lives and deal with problems they might have.
And they must surely get lots of advice from each other and ideas when having to deal with, because not only are you dealing with this awful illness, but you're having to deal with your friends' reactions, your family's reactions, and how they treat you differently.
That's right. I mean, cancer affects people's lives in all kinds of ways. You know, it's not just the illness itself and the effects of the treatment. You know, it affects people's ability to work, it affects their relationships, affects their finances. And so a big part of the group is people, you know, I suppose advice giving, you know, but in a very supportive way. It's not telling people what to do. It's saying, look, this is what I did. This is what worked for me. It might work for you.
Does the group have visiting guest speakers then for information?
Yes, we do, and I try to set it up so that we have guest speakers on most occasions when the group meets, because part of the group is about information sharing and information giving. You know, there are actually a lot of services and support out there, but people don't know about it. And so they can hear from the horse's mouth, from the visitors, but I'll also bring in information that I know about. And people in the group as well, they say, oh, you know, I've been doing this physical activity with such and such, and we'll share that with the group.
So Ali, can you tell us, I mean, what does living with and beyond cancer really mean?
Living with and beyond cancer has become really important in the last few years. It's now recognised that it's not a case of people having treatment for cancer and then being cured, or sadly, as in some cases, you know, people do pass away. It's not either or. Often, you know, people do survive cancer, and it can be for a long period of time, many years, but they can be left with effects and psychological problems and things like that, you know. So Living with and Beyond Cancer is about recognising that, and that people may need support in different areas to help them get back to normal, or rather what we call a new normal, because people often find that life is never quite the same again after cancer.
Because once the not that I'm aware of all the technical words associated with cancer, but then you're in remission, aren't you? You're not that it's you're cured. You're in remission.
That's right. And one of the biggest concerns for people who've had cancer is the fear of cancer coming back. And in fact our most recent session actually looked at that, and we talked about that, and how frightening it can be for people. And I think that's where a group's really, really good, because people can actually share that fear, and because it's not relatives or people who are close to them, they don't have to worry about upsetting people. They're sharing it with people who understand where they're coming from.
So you can be more honest within the group, can't you? Because it's, like you said, you're not worrying about hurting other people's feelings or upsetting them. You can just be yourself. Be honest.
That's right, you can be honest, and I think that's what really works about it. But like I say, it's not being honest in a way where we all sit there crying and saying, oh, this is all so sad. It is very much, yes, it is sad, it can be hard, but there are ways of working through it and feeling more positive about life. Because at the end of the day, even if your life is restricted by having cancer, and you've only got so long, you want that quality of life to be the best it can be, not just to give up. And
I'm sure people must form really good friendships as well at the group.
Yeah. There's a really strong sense. I do have some people who've been coming the whole time, and it does feel really close. But at the same time, when new people come, they seem to become part of the group very quickly. It's not like a little clique. It's very welcoming to anybody who wants to come along. So, as I've said, there's a lot more going on now about living with and beyond cancer. And in Manchester, there's actually quite a lot of stuff out there to support people and help them. This can include things like, holistic therapies, things like complementary therapies, counselling. There are walking groups. There's stuff around physical activity. There's some help, hair and beauty stuff. So all kinds of different things. And I've not really talked about our service, but this is something we can help people with. We have this information and it's up to date. We know what's going on, so people can contact us to find out about these services.
So I believe you also offer one-to-one support.
Yes, we do. We can meet people. We try and meet people as close to where they live as we can. So we have two bases. One is in Gorton Library and the other is in Wythenshawe Library. But we can also meet people out in their local library or other community venue. And we can do this generally Monday to Thursday. And we can do it at quite short notice, so it's always worth contacting us. Our number is 0161 227 3727. That's 0161 227 3727.
And I think it's also worth mentioning again, this is a free service, isn't it?
Yes, it's free, and everything that our service offer is free, so the one-to-one appointments. And those are a chance for people to offload. Sometimes just coming along for an hour and talking about your experience with somebody who's very empathetic and doesn't judge you, sometimes that's all people need, just that one chance. Others maybe have more complex needs, but we can signpost them where to go. And we can signpost people to the various services that are there, depending on what the person needs.
It's fantastic that you offer that option, because for some people, the group setting, whilst it's supportive, they might feel that they're able to communicate better on a one-to-one basis.
Yeah, definitely. A group isn't everyone's cup of tea. I mean, even people in the group say that there's one time they wouldn't have come to a group. Sometimes it's a thing that people find their way to a few years later. So people do have the opportunity to talk on a one-to-one, and it's not just our service. I mean, we're out in the community, but we also have the Macmillan services based in the hospitals, where people can go for support and help while they're actually in the hospital buildings.
Now, if we have any listeners who are keen to get in touch, could you just give us the details, please?
Well, the group meets every 2 months at North Manchester General Hospital, and we meet in a building called the Postgraduate Centre. And as you go to the front of the hospital from Delaunay's Road, it's the building at the far right. So it's good because it's a place where people know how to get there, but we're not actually within the hospital. We are at the side. So we meet from 10 o'clock till 12 o'clock for 2 hours, and our next meeting is on Thursday the 14th of April, and the one after that is Thursday 9th of June. As I say, anybody's welcome to come along. You can just come along on the day if you like, but I think people often prefer to contact me in advance just to have a chat, and so I can smooth the way for them. So it's probably best to contact me on my mobile rather than the main number, which is 07767 663 099. 07767 663 099. And just to say, if people do call me on that number, I will call them back so they don't have to take the cost of the call.
That's really good of you. Thank you, Ali. That's
Thank
fantastic. You. I think I'm really hoping that there are listeners out there who will decide that they don't need to suffer in silence, I hope, and take advantage of the fact that we have this fantastic support group on our doorstep.
Yes, yeah, and like I say, it's a really good group, and it's a real mix. If there's men out there listening, thinking, "Oh, I quite like the sound of this," but is it all women? No, it isn't. It's actually about half and half. In fact, sometimes we have more men than we do women. So, and like I say, it's for all different ages as well. So it's for anybody. So just come along, give it a go, or like I say, give me a call, and we can sort of talk it through and see if it's for you.
Fantastic. I want to say again, thank you so much to Ali for coming in.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Thank you for asking me.
So if you'd like more information about this group or anything else that you hear on the radio, give us a call on 0161 839 9817. We're on Facebook, just type in Awaz Community Radio, tweet us at awazradio122, or email us awazcommunityradio@gmail.com. Thank you for listening, and take care.